3, 2, 1. Okay.
Great.
Proceed.
Thanks for remembering. I used to always forget to record. Okay, cool. Hi, everyone, and welcome to your first weekly sing. Woo! So my name is Jennifer, and I'm a mentor with Collab Lab. And I'm going to be an alternate mentor for TCL 27 this time around, which means that I won't be here every week, but you can always reach out and I'll be lurking in the channel to help you all out. So I guess the first things first is that we should probably all introduce ourselves, since even though we had the really quick chance at the different orientations, we might not have all been the same one. So I will go first. I think usually we do name, location, pronouns. What was the other thing usually we do? There's 4, right? Is there anything else? Is that it?
Usually we talk about what team we're on and what role we do, but this is a team meeting.
Yeah,
whatever you want.
And
you
then the fourth one, whatever. I hate when people ask me for fun facts, so maybe
I like to do. Tell me something you like. Could be anything. Could be your grandma.
You like
coffee.
Or if you want to say why you joined Collab Lab too.
Oh, that's cute.
Whatever you want to do for the 4th one. So I'll start first. Yeah, and then please pick the next person after you. So my name is Jennifer. I am a mentor. Okay, I already said all this stuff. I was originally a Collabby turned mentor. I was TCL 5 and then TCL Pilot, which is another cohort that's going on this time around. So if you like Collab Lab so much, there's another one for you to join afterwards as well. And my pronouns are she, her, and I am located in Portland, Oregon. I joined Collab Lab as a Collabby because I felt like I didn't know how to actually do the thing once I got out of boot camp. I felt like there was a really big gap between how to actually contribute successfully on a team and knowing how to code. And so that's why I joined Collab Lab, and everyone is so awesome and nice. And I felt like I grew a lot in my 8 weeks plus the other 8 weeks. And so I never left. And so that's me. So let's see, let's have Yolanda, would you like to go next?
Hi, everyone. I'm Yolanda. Hello, hello. I am in San Diego, California. My pronouns are she, her. And something fun. I don't have fun facts. I speak 2 languages, English and Japanese. I've taught and worked abroad in Japan. So that's usually a cool fun fact that people enjoy. And I have to pick the next person, correct? Okay, I will pick Sam.
Thanks, Yolanda, sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm Sam. I am in Brooklyn, New York. East Coaster here, born and raised in Virginia. My pronouns are he, his. So I decided to join Collab Lab. Actually, I first heard about it on a podcast. I think it was the Code With Me podcast or Code Newbie podcast. I'm sorry. And one of the participants, I think she was like a mother, and I think she was a mother, and she joined Collab Lab. Kind of the same reason as me, I think, is just to kind of get some team experience. What was I gonna say? Sorry. But yeah, like I've been self-taught, teaching myself for past year, and it's been kind of a lonely experience. So wanted to kind of, work with other people and, working on projects together and see what that was all about and better prepare me for the future. So that's why I'm here. But yeah, super excited to be here. I will pass it to Lyle.
Hey everyone, I'm Lyle. My pronouns are he, him. I am also located in Portland. I actually just moved here a little bit before Christmas at the end of 2020 because 2020 was a year. I'm a senior developer right now. I just started working at a startup in the last couple of weeks. That's going to be a fun adventure. And I used to be a dog trainer when I was putting myself through college and stuff. And I like doing the type of thing that helps people out and stuff. So, I found Collab Lab and it looked like a thing that I could, help out a little bit with. And I was a mentor for TCL 21, which was in the last cohort in the spring, and now I'm back. So I'm happy to be here and looking forward to working with you all. Let's see, how about Tatiana? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, hi, I'm Tatiana. I'm in New York City. My pronouns are she, her, and I joined the Collab Lab for the same reason as Jennifer. I have to agree with that, is that I recently graduated from bootcamp, and I felt like it would be, I felt like, maybe I didn't know enough how to work on a team of developers. And I thought that that would be a really great hands-on experience to get. And I was just looking for a place to get that. And I accidentally stumbled upon Collab Lab, and it just sounded like such a great place. So I'm just really happy to be here. I guess I'll pass it on to Stacy.
That's me. I done mute. Hi, I'm Stacy. Sacramento, she, her, hers, co-founder of Collab Lab, a code of conduct responder, not yours, but I'm here for you. That's Juliana. If you have anything you need to come to me with too, I'm here for you. I am at Collab Lab because I'm just really over seeing really qualified, amazing humans get passed up for tech jobs because companies aren't taking chances on them. So by providing people with collaboration and teamwork experience, those of us who are like getting out of boot camp and won't get hired because they're like, well, you've never been on a dev team. It's like, gotcha, now I have. So hopefully we can start diversifying tech and getting more underrepresented people and early career engineers into tech because they have the experience they need to prove that they can do it. So come here, prove it, fail in this safe space, learn and grow, then go out into the world and kick butt, then kick down the doors for other people like us so that tech can be a good place. Let's do it. Okay. With that, I'll pass it on to Juliana.
Hey y'all, I'm Juliana. I'm based in Colombia. Pronouns are they, them. I joined Collab Lab because, I've been a mentor. I'm a code of conduct responder. I am your code of conduct responder, and I'll explain that in a second. I joined Collab Lab because I learned, I guess I don't like saying self-taught because it's not like we put a finger to the wind and we're like, oh yes, this is how you do a for loop. I actually had a lot of help from the tech community in Colombia, and I noticed how beautiful it is when communities help each other get into tech and diversify and everything like that. So I thought it was really nice when I saw that Collab Lab was happening, that this whole infrastructure exists, and I was like, yes, let's get more people into these roles, these life-changing things. I am the code of conduct responder, so I'm going to hijack this for just a few seconds to tell y'all about this. The Collab Lab is very keen on creating psychologically safe spaces. So we do have a code of conduct that we enforce. I just pasted it into the chat. Make sure you do read it, please, so that you're aware of it, for yourself. And also, in case anything ever feels uncomfortable, maybe you can check it out and, get that sort of affirmation, like, oh yeah, that actually was not a great situation. And if anything ever happens, please do reach out. I'm in the Slack. I check it all the time. So definitely do reach out. We can talk through things, see what kind of actions can come out of it. It's not just me, it's also the team. So don't feel like, I don't know, you're in good hands is what I want to say. I will also reach out to y'all individually in the next few weeks, maybe week 2 or 3, to just schedule some quick check-ins. I want to get to know y'all and also just see how your experience has been. So that'll happen as well, so that you know. All right. I look forward to getting to know all of you, and I will pass it on to April.
Hi, I'm April. I am a mentor and a self-taught engineer who's been badly programming for 20 years now because I don't know what I don't know half the time. So yeah, that's fun. I currently work at Rosetta Stone and I'm hoping to change that up pretty soon. Fun fact, I learned how to, I didn't learn how. I flew a plane the other day for the first time. and that was exciting. So I'm pretty excited about that. And my instructor was like, "You're really good at this," and I'm like, "I watched some YouTube," so because we're self-taught, we can just continue to do this. So it works with planes too. That's kind of incredible. And oh, my pronouns are she, hers, and I think that's it. Let's
April, what about
see.
your racing that you do?
Oh, yeah. I also, when I'm not flying planes, I drive a truck in an off-road, like in a whole off-road rally that's in California, Nevada, and they're doing it in Arizona this year. And it's an all-female rally, and it's like 2,000 kilometers of off-road and only paper maps, no GPS, no computers for like 10 days, which is amazing. And I go to bed at 7:30 when I don't have the internet, which I learned about myself. It's weird, but yeah. And the first year I did it was really great because we came in, me and my partner were the top scoring rookie team for 4x4s, but we missed out on the giant trophy by 4 points. And I'm still to this day thinking about those 4 points. So losing makes you better, I guess, is my motto. Yeah, so that comes up in October again, and I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
That's it. Okay, so who is next? Okay, Danny, how about you?
Cool. I'm Danny. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm based in Chicago, but grew up in New Mexico and lived in Florida for about 7 years as well, so kind of all over the country. I guess fun fact, I once placed third in a veggie dog eating contest. I ate 10 hot dogs in 10 minutes, and then afterwards had another one because there was a different recipe that I wanted to try, and then a milkshake because apparently that's my life. And then I joined Collab Lab. I kind of was pushed by a buddy who was looking for other like mentorship opportunities for me. He completed a boot camp, and I was doing everything off of like Udemy is my experience in learning to code. Like Angela Yu is my hero. And so like I went through her whole boot camp and doing everything kind of by myself. I realized like I don't know how to work with other people. And I got passed up for a job opportunity at my current company because they were like, well, you're not as polished as these other people who have worked on tools. And I was like, correct. So I got the job afterwards, trying to learn the skills still, but I'm really passionate about like breaking down the barrier to entry for non-traditional folks and people who are historically marginalized. So that's why I'm here and hope to be able to contribute that going forward for other people.
Amazing. Graham, I think
that just leaves me.
I mean, I can go after you, but go ahead.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Andrew. Please, no, you start.
No. You really. I'll close it out.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Graham. So my pronouns are he and him, and I'm one of the new mentors for TCL 27. And let's see, I'm located on the Canadian prairies, but my heart really lies on the West Coast. The fun fact I want to share is that my partner and I absolutely love diving. And one of the things that we love trying to find is something called a stubby squid. And this is a coaster wood burning of what one might look like. It's kind of like halfway between a squid and an octopus, and it's about the size of a loony. So like about that big, about that little size. And so there are these incredible little things that got siphons, and they can leap and fly and bury themselves in the sand. And yeah, so that's something that we love. Why I joined Collab Lab was just I love building community, and I love helping other people. Please, Andrew, now take it.
All right, cool. So hi, everybody. I think you all know me. I'm Andrew, founder of Collab Lab. That's why I'm here. Stacey said it very well in terms of just, kind of the motivations for it all. I'm really passionate about helping you all break into tech and trying to diversify tech by not only getting diverse people through Collab Lab and into those jobs, but then having you all help the next person behind you get in as well once you have a little bit of status in there. So my pronouns are he, him. I'm in Portland, Oregon. Fun fact about me, I don't know if it's fun exactly, but I can't remember the exact number, but I've lived in like 36 places or something in my life. So have moved around a ton, including all around the United States. And I spent 3 years in New Zealand as well, which was pretty cool. And that's it for introductions.
Awesome. I think then we might dive right into the next bit. So we're gonna do some regularly recurring activities every week. This being week 0, just, you know, that's the first number of all the weeks that we're gonna do, is going to be a slight different schedule from the rest of the weeks, but everything will kind of follow a cadence, and you'll get used to it pretty fast. So we're gonna kind of run in a vague sprint structure, and if you don't know what that means, basically we're going to chunk everything up into 2-week sessions, and kind of rotate through. At the end of the 2-week session, we're going to do a retro, and kind of talk about how the last 2 weeks went. And on every other week, instead, we're going to have a lesson as well, that will kind of go over some important stuff that we think are relevant to doing kind of the collaborative programming thing. So on that note, we do have a lesson for today. That lesson is on Git, and which is how we use code and stuff. I will not step on that and hand it over to Grant to do his thing.
All right, let me just pull up the right screen here and share it. I'm playing with presentation mode, so please excuse me if something goes terribly, terribly wrong and I have to do this from memory instead. All right. Let's take this Chrome window, expand that, and let's see if an F12 will make this full screen. Nope, wrong F12. Cool, never mind. We're gonna stick with seeing my nice address bar. All right, so Git. Have you guys used Git very much yourselves? Have you touched it? Are you aware of kind of what it is? See some kind of head shaking, some kind of nodding. All right, so like, have you all added yourself to the contributors list? I think so, right? Yeah, so you've used it a little bit. You kind of felt out what that looks like, what that feels like. So today, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about some basic definitions. Then we're gonna talk a tiny bit of the theory behind, what we're actually trying to do. Then a couple of the commands you'll need to actually know, so like how we do it. Then talk a little bit about what a PR is and how it fits with Git and how it all meshes together. In other words, how do we actually finalize our work? And then editors, where do we do it? And resources, so where do we learn a little bit more? So there's some basic kind of atomic items that you need to think about. So remember, there's code, and then there are commits. And a commit is kind of the base value of what we're looking at. So you do one commit that is a unit, and that unit is then formed with lots of other things to build up our code base. So one commit multiple commits are put into a branch, and that branch is kind of that collection of commits. It says, hey, this is where the history is going. And then when you have multiple branches, some could be master or main, as it's now called, or you could have your personal working branches. Those branches can all come together and create a repository of code. So it's a collection of those files as well as the history of everything that's been done. And then you also have a remote, or in other words, like a repo somewhere. That is where that repo is being stored. And finally, you've got your pull request. So in other words, to kind of summarize this all together, you have commits that form a branch, branches that form a repo lives in a remote, and a pull request on a repo allows you to update a remote from a branch with new commits. Whew. So in other words, all these pieces kind of come together to create something that's really nice and allows us to work together very effectively. Now, before I go to the next slide, just out of curiosity, are people here watching the TV show Loki? Kind of, a little yes and no? All right, well, I'll come back to it in a moment, but you might see why I asked the question. Because essentially you've got this timeline of history of how everything fits together. And we're just going to kind of walk through. This is the tiny animation from the lovely Collab Lab slides. So you can kind of imagine that we're right here in history on the add button step. And then let's say I decide that I want to add a new feature. So I create a branch. I then want to do some work. So I create another atomic unit. I create a commit where I add the styles. I then do some more things and I add tests and I add that again as another commit. So this branch is not quite associated with the main branch yet. It's still separate, but they're all kind of in the same repo. Then at the same time, let's say Jennifer comes in and she does this fantastic job of updating some text and puts that commit in on the master, or sorry, main. Our company still uses master. I'm sorry, my words keep getting tripped up. Yeah, so we update that and then it comes time. I want to put it all together. So I'll open up a PR where I say, hello, I've got all these changes in a branch that I want to bring together. And so then you will eventually be able to merge it. So that at the end of the day, when we're done, after doing that merging, the whole timeline will look something like this, where it all kind of comes together. That initial commit, add button commit, the update commit, the add styles commit, and add test commit. It will all look along a linear process of how it all fits together. Thinking about our repository, you can again look back and see if we are right here. You can see on the contributors document, you can see that we got 8 contributors and it's got a nice long history. Again, we have all this long list of all these atomic commits that everyone's made and how it all flows together to form a collaborative document. All right. So what actually are we going to do? You've probably used some of these, but I'll just start. So first off, this is one I like that I use more than anything else. Git status. What is going on? Where am I? What's happening? How does it all fit together? This is a very simple command that just says, what branch am I on? Am I up to date with upstream? What have I changed? What do I have that's not actually known to Git? What is staged? And so when you do that command, it'll show you a really good representation of exactly what's going on and what you need to be aware of. The next, of course, is git checkout. So let's say I've got that master branch and I want to then create my feature branch. You use this checkout option. You can either switch with just checkout, or as you see here, use B to create a new one. Next up, we've got add. So again, we've got changes in code, but they're not necessarily going to be put in a commit yet. So we actually have to say, hey, Git, I want to take these files, take these changes, and I want to put that into my commit that I'm then going to put onto my branch. You can either do that file by file. You can say, I want to add everything. And then my personal favorite, -U for updated. So in other words, anything that's already been tracked, just put those changes. I'm the type of person that likes to create temp files and all the other random stuff in my root directory, which is probably not the greatest, but -U allows you to just kind of grab only the stuff that's important. Next up, I've got all my changes in code. I've got all the stuff that I need to add. All right, I want to actually make a commit. I want to make one of those atomic units. So you can just type git commit. At that point, it'll open up an editor and you have to type in a message because your commits always do need something. So you either can directly commit it and use your default editor. You can add a message right in the command line there, such as update heading text, or you can commit and add at the same time. There's lots of ways to optimize this. If you're curious about seeing all these options and all the more options, at the very end, we'll link all the Git documentation. I'd highly recommend you check it out, except with a big grain of salt is that it's quite complicated. So, take your time, try not to go too fast into it. All right, git push. Git push is one of the more complicated commands. And really to break it down, it just does one thing. And it just says, hey, I want to take everything and I want to move it from my local branch and I want to sync that with the remote. And so git push command is pretty much just git push to some remote with some branch. So example, that would be git push origin, which is the remote, and then the branch, in this case, GB reordered list. You also can do some more fancy things. So you often see people just saying git push without the remote or the branch. And that what you have to do is you have to actually set the upstream. So saying, hey, Git, I want you to have some context here. I want you to know that the branch that I'm working on, it lives in this remote repository. So in this case, this is saying, hey, I want to set upstream. I want you to see that this is where it's supposed to live. So the next time you do it, you can just type in git push, and it knows that this branch that I know I'm on needs to go up in this. Finally, we've got git pull, because it's great to be able to work with other people, but we also have to be able to grab other people's code instead of just pushing our own. So git pull allows you to just kind of grab the most recent changes. And so you can do this on main, you can do this on master, you can even do fancy things where you pull other branches into yours and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, all you need to know is that we are just using pull to pull down. All right, so let's put it all together. So what's the flow look like when you're actually going to be working? All right, so when I first open up the repository, I want to make sure I'm on the right main branch. So I'm going to git checkout main. Great. But maybe someone's made a commit on it since I last checked it out. So let's update. So I'm going to do a git pull. And now my main is at the same point, the same SHA as the remote main. Great. Now I can actually start making my feature. So I'm going to git checkout -b for new branch, and then the name of my branch. And the way we do it is GB is your initials, your partner's initials, and then whatever the thing you're working on. So in this case, I was working on it by myself. So just GB-sorting. And then you get in this nice little cycle. So for as long as you've work remaining, you're going to start creating all those atomic units where you're saying, hey, I want to add all my updated files. I want to commit it with a message. I want to push it up. And then I want to grab all my partner changes. And you can do that over and over and over again until you get that nice long line, that long timeline of everything that fits together. And then once you and your partner have done everything that you need to do, you've written all your documentation, created all these great tests, you then can take that, push it back up, and open PR or MR. It depends on where you're working from. They're essentially the same thing. Merge request, pull request. So how do you actually open a pull request? Great question. Well, you have these very nice, easy buttons on the Collab Lab GitHub. There's oftentimes when you push recently, there'll also be a nice big dialogue that'll pop up that'll say, hey, I see you just pushed this branch 2 minutes ago. Would you like to open a pull request? And it hopefully makes it fairly easy on you. The other thing I just want to mention here is that Git's imperfect. It doesn't know everything. It can't know everything. So really, we have to be somewhat cautious and somewhat careful with how we're working with others. When I do really good changes in the same spot as someone else is doing other great changes, we need to figure out what we want to keep. It could be that maybe I just renamed the variables, another person changed the logic, but we still need to come together and make sure that the new code has both the changed variables and the updated logic. And Git, unfortunately, is generally not smart enough to do some of those really complicated stuff. It can do it a lot of the times with a nice fast forward motion, but for oftentimes it's not quite possible. So really just take the time, ask for help. This is something that's not easy and really does take some time to get used to doing. All right. So I'm doing a direct quote from Lyle here from this morning, which is essentially that doing Git where you edit your code just makes sense. And I agree completely with that. So where is this all happening? Wherever you like to edit code. Almost everything's got a great integration with these days. So personally, I think I'll be using mostly VS Code for this work, and they've got a great integration. I also hear IntelliJ and WebStorm are fantastic. And at the end of the day, also the command line is fun. But everything is doing the same thing. All these commands, it's exactly what's being written. They just might do it in a slightly different way with a different UI over top of it. So some other resources here. We've got some Git documentation. Atlassian's Git tutorials are great, as well as Google and Stack Overflow. But generally, come to us. We're a team. We've all fought our own Git battles, and really, we are here to help you. Any questions? I see shaking of heads going once, twice, 3 times. Sold for the knowledge transfer. All right, I'll stop screen sharing.
I'll say for sure, if you have questions about anything, especially if you're not used to using Git, or if you've used Git a lot, but you've done it by yourself, you know, it can be weird when you start doing it with other people. Ask questions, especially in Slack. You know, we're all checking it all the time. We've all done all of the crazy, well, all of us. I think most of the mentors have done crazy stuff with Git and can usually help you work through, you know, whatever issue that you're coming across. So just ask questions, be loud. We'll help you. We'll, you know, kind of work through it. The other fun thing that happens when you open pull requests is we have automation that is set up so that the code in your pull request will actually get deployed up and live onto Firebase, so that you will have a working copy of the app in the state of your pull request that you can kind of go and play with. So that'll be super nice for, you know, when we're trying to do code demos or work through problems or any of that stuff. We'll be talking about kind of setting up, this is part of the orientation that's worth hitting again, that, you know, we want you to set up the branch and probably the pull request early in the week. That will get that kind of stuff set up, allow you to have those conversations and to have kind of working copies of things to work off and go from as we go through working out through the week. But again, yeah, just be loud and noisy in Slack and we'll help you out. So I think the next thing on the agenda is going to be going over the issues that we'd like to tackle for this week, and then just kind of generally talking about, you know, what we're gonna do. April, feel good taking on that one? All right. So.
Yeah, let's see here. I just need a second to. I have 500 windows open and trying to find the right one is always fun. Okay, so we should all be looking at the issues page. You'll always be able to find this from our repo. It's right up here with issues. This week we'll be working on the first couple of issues here and starting with number 1. Let's see if I can get into it. Is there more info in here? There should be. Yeah, so give a chance for everyone to kind of read through this. I don't think I need to read it to you. And Lyle, since you've done this before, if you've got anything you want to add to this, since this is also my first time in this code base, there's some more illuminating facts about issues 1 and 2.
Yeah. So it's the first week. The majority of the work that we're doing here is not so much actual app content as it is setting up the boilerplate for the app. There's 2 stories. This first one here is to set up Firebase. Primarily, this is going to be installing Firebase library and then making sure that it is hooked up and that it works. So, you know, you can kind of do what you want to do in terms of verifying that. And it's a little bit open-ended, but the idea here is that, you know, we're going to add these 2 dependencies that we're going to need to integrate with Firebase. If you don't know what Firebase is, that is the Google Cloud hosted database. It's a NoSQL database that has hooks that allow you to basically do stuff from the web app. So you don't really need like a back end, you know, in a traditional sense. It'll allow you to kind of do all your database interactions from within the front end code. So this is going to get the dependency, hook it up, and just make sure that it works, right? You want to make sure that the integrations that we have are functional. There is a library already in the code. So if you go look at the source lib in GitHub, and yeah, perfect. There is a library file in here already that has the Firebase configuration in it and initializes the Firebase app. So the ask of this card is to kind of go in and hook it up. And just make sure that I got that. Yeah. So I'm clicking back over to what this is. So what's on the screen is mostly the connection properties that the library is going to want to actually do that connection. So just letting you know this is here. So the magic pieces are in Git already. We just need to make them go.
One last note on this one, it's in the description that April showed, but just be really mindful that when you're working through any of these issues, not just these first two, that you try and stick as closely to the acceptance criteria as possible. And this is something that should resonate throughout your entire career. If you're given a task, just do the task, because scope creep is a very real thing, and you can really start spiraling into building a whole entire app. In this case, we've seen people in the past be like, oh, I need to be able to send to and read from the database. And I know we're creating a shopping list app, so I'll create the list and I'll send items back and forth. And it's like, well, now you just created the entire app. So don't create the entire app. In the notes, it says you could potentially have a button, and then that button is like a counter that adds to the database. So keep it really simple. The point here is to just prove that you can connect to the database.
Thank you.
That's all.
I'm going to go to, oh, does anyone have any questions on issue 1 first before we move on to issue 2? And then, or I'll just open this one up, and then as we have questions about the week's stuff, we can hit that. Okay, so as a user, I want to be able to navigate between the list view and the add an item view so that the interface is clearly delineated between viewing and adding. And can you guys see my screen okay? Is it, no,
Yep.
zoom in a little bit.
Same kind of thing. This is another, kind of one of the boilerplate libraries that we're going to want, the React router. Effectively, it's the mechanism that allows us to switch between pages on the application, or at least, in the views and what is a single page application. So this will, let us change between the list view and the add an item view and that kind of thing. We already, so the AC in there is about setting up the links for the list and the add an item, and then being able to route between them. Kind of what Stacy was just saying a second ago, like it'd be tempting to go in and then add the list view as you add that, and it's not really what we want to do, right? We just want to make the component that the router sends you to and basically has nothing there, or a piece of text says like this works. So we want to stick to that, right? It's very easy to be eager when you dive in. You want to show everyone how all this cool stuff you can do. We will have room later towards kind of the end where it's a little bit more open-ended, and we say kind of go nuts and add style and do kind of all a little bit, have the fun with it. We want to stick to the stories here. It's important for a couple of reasons. One, you don't want to go off in a direction that's not what the whole team is going in. We want to make sure we're on the same page too. And we also don't want to make anyone who's trying to keep to that 5-hour commitment of the week. And a lot of that is probably spent figuring things out or doing research. And we don't want people to feel like, oh, I see someone over here, Graham just added all the stuff and I barely contributed at all. And that can be kind of a deflating, experience when you see someone else doing all the stuff and you're not doing as much stuff. We want to kind of keep it scope. Anyway, sorry, enough of the tangent. So again, here is going to be go add the library for the React router, and hook it up to make sure that it works. And yeah, adding those two links to the bottom of the page and just making sure that it flips back and forth.
On that note, one other thing I want to call out is that if you haven't already, I highly suggest going through the project board and just reading through all of the stories so you know what's coming. Because in this case, you might, like Lyle was saying, go to do a bunch of styling or something, not realizing that in the last week, you're going to spend all of your time doing that. So don't do it now, because what you do will probably get undone when you and your team collaborate on a vision for what the app should look like. So read through them and get familiar with what's there so you don't overwork.
And I feel like too, there's a lot of stuff to learn here with React DOM and with Firebase, and that is also work. as a developer, you spend 90% of your time researching how to do something and maybe like 2% actually committing code. And it's okay. I mean, no one should, if you're working somewhere where someone thinks that they're counting your lines of code, work somewhere else if you can, because that's not, I feel like that's not really the meat of what a developer does. Yeah, so yeah, that's just my personal thing, because I do that every week, where you start Monday feeling like an idiot, and then by Friday you're like, I have learned so much this week. It's amazing. So happens every single week. Okay.
Hey, April, could you go to the project view? If you go back up to the top, and there's the issues view, and then there's the project view too. So
oh, great.
Project view is helpful for, going into the Smart Shopping List project. It's helpful for seeing sort of the states that the issues move through. So we could even move 1 and 2 into in progress, because we just talked about them. We're going to assign people to them. And then, and then as you once it's ready for your peer review, you're going to, like, as developers, should drag it over to ready for peer review, so that people know, like, we could all look at the board and understand sort of the state of the issue. If you could scroll to the right, there's a couple more columns. Should be ready for mentor review. That's done. Done is actually means that it's been merged into main. So your PR was accepted and been merged. So, so as much as possible, keep this board up to date so everyone knows the state of everything.
Yep, I got a little too excited about. There we go. Okay, so anything else to add? Do we need to talk through this more, or start getting some people working on these issues?
So I copy and pasted the pairs for this week. So if you don't know, in your repo, there's actually a markdown file called Project Brief, and all the pairs have already been listed for the different weeks of the project. So usually at this point, we'll ask the pairs to be like, first dibs, who wants what issue?
Can we just say it?
Yeah,
go for it.
Okay,
whoever
sorry.
goes first.
Danny, if you're down, I'd be down to do the first user story.
Let's do it.
Start with that. That's cool. Yeah, dope.
All right, assignees. And let's see. Sam, what's your username on
Sorry, it's not my actual name.
Oh, it isn't?
Newbie mistake. It's AirZT11.
I think I might need, I guess you're probably in from pull requests or from the
there. If you just type in Sam Kim, I saw him.
Yeah, if you start typing, it shows up.
Oh, good.
Yeah, there you go.
Great. And then Danny, are you in here? Yep, there you go. That's easy. And that should be it. Oh, did I just add someone else to this accidentally?
Yeah, but that's all right. Maybe they can help out. We can take them off. It's not a big deal. If you click on that thingy, and then you just click it, clicker again. There you go. Sweet.
Great. Okay, now I'm going to go back to. And here we have Tatiana and I'm sorry, I forgot the other Collabie's name.
Yolanda. While we're here, you two, is there any reason that either of you would be against working on the React DOM library story?
Any concerns?
Sorry, what was that again?
Asking for Yolanda and Tatiana if they're cool with doing this story.
Yeah, that works for me.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Great. All right. I think that's it for my part. We got them assigned out. So What's next?
Tactical stuff. So I am both on the code reviews for this week as well as the office hours for this week. So what will happen, I'm gonna share it real quick. Just to reiterate again on the board. Can you see Chrome? Yes, cool. All right. So back onto here, back on the project view. So these are in progress now. That's great. What we want to do, we've got the schedule again in the project brief. So if you have questions about kind of the flow of things, that's probably the best place to go. Again, you want to start a thread in Slack, you know, just for the two of you, your pair for this week, to kind of chat, you know, and discuss. It's generally a good idea. If you want to try and get some, you know, in-person time, that's great. You know, on Zoom or something, if you want to use the Zoom room. I do have the paid room that was actually given to me by Andrew, so for TCL. So I would consider that, you know, priority to anyone who wants to use it, you know, scheduling it in for the week. If you want a room, just hop on. The link that's for this week should be good through the entire rest of the week. So I would, you know, if you don't really need to like coordinate with me or anything, right? Just to hop in and use the Zoom room. Otherwise, you know, you want to keep chatting. If you do everything async, that's fine too. And, you know, talk through, hey, what you want to do, get the branch created for the story for the week. And then, you know, get it implemented and do what you can, ask questions. I'll be around. When you think that it's in a good spot, you know, and you've got that pull request ready to go, what you want to do is get it approved and peer reviewed first. So what you'll do is you'll take this card over here and say, okay, I'm done. You'll open a pull request for that. You'll assign the other two who are not part of your pair that were working on the card to review your pull request so they know what's coming. When those two have approved and signed off on the pull request, we'll move this over into here. Someone should assign the mentor of the week who's doing the code reviews. This week, that's going to be me. You know, and then it'll be mentor time to go in and look at and double check the code, make sure that everything else looks good. You know, until you got all the wrong things that you did this week. It's not going to happen, right? And then, you know, we'll check it off. Once that the mentor check is there, go ahead and click the merge for getting those changes in. That will be merged into the main branch. It should be reflected up onto our app is hosted in Google and Firebase. There is a link for it. I can get that for you actually right now. Did I? I thought I bookmarked it. I didn't. But what you can do, if you go look at the actions here, so actions is where the automation is occurring in GitHub that is also hooked into Firebase. So what you can see is this was the commit that Graham did earlier today. He added himself to the contributors file. If you go in and look at what the automation actually did, it'll tell you some build and deploy stuff. It's probably not what you really care about. But in here will usually be a link to the pull request that you opened. It's also for the main branch, it's going to have a link to just the base web app. So I will drop this link into Slack. But right now, this is the app. This is your app that everything is going to get merged into. It is already up on the internet and ready to go. It's got an address so you can kind of show the world. This is effectively the Create React app boilerplate with nothing else added to it. So if you go to the React tutorials and stuff right now, this is exactly what you'd see, and this is what we've hosted. So this is just a good spot to go and check out. I'll drop the link in here, but that's where things are going to go. That's the process for the week. So first of all, before I move on, any questions about anything that we've talked about so far?
One question, are we gonna go through like making the branch right now for the specific user story, or is it already created?
We have not, and that's a good idea. I think we probably should. It actually might have been in the agenda for the weekend. Okay.
Oh, cool.
Good call. So let's see. Do I want to do that here? I actually probably be a bit of a better exercise if, first of all, any of you feel comfortable pulling up the terminal right now and walking through that right here in front of everyone.
Yeah, I can do it.
Let's do it. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing and I will let you take the wheel.
All right, let me just get this open really fast. Okay, I'm already in there. And share. Oh, geez. Oh, there's so many options. Hang on. Okay. Oh, come on. Yes, grant access, please. All right, it might boot me. We're about to find out. Oh, it's booting me. One moment.
Oh no.
Well, why would it boot her?
Maybe first time.
Huh.
It's like you'd have to reset permissions or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, shoot. Wait.
Hey,
Going back
Danny.
in. All right.
Yes. Welcome back.
Oh, you're muted
You're
though.
still muted.
And I'm muted. There we go. Okay. I know the things. Okay. Where is my terminal? All right. Can everyone see my terminal?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Make sure I'm in it now. So I'm gonna get checkout -B for branch, and then we do initials. So Danny, Sam, what was the convention that we follow? I don't remember.
Initial, and then the other member's initial. So
okay,
Sam.
So we'll do
SK, right?
Sam.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, cool. I didn't know if it was first names together or if we should do so DPSK.
Perfect. And then which one are you doing? Are you doing the Firestore one?
Yeah.
Or the I just said
we're
Firestore
doing
or something.
The the first user story.
Oh, yeah, Firestore. Really, like, these are conventions, but if you name it something else, nobody really cares. Yeah. As long as you're on the same page with each other.
Okay. That's what I wanted to make sure that I'm following. So this one is maybe because we're just making sure that it's on. We have Firebase on there, right?
Yeah.
Or
add Firebase is great.
Oh. Okay, cool.
Stuff is usually just so that when you come back to it 6 weeks from now and you look at this, what was this branch about, right? Having it be vaguely descriptive is what you're aiming for.
Cool. All right. So there is ours. And we should be on it now if I do get status, right? If I can type today. I'm literally typing on top of my dog right now because he decided to lay in my lap mid-meeting. Okay. Cool. So there's mine.
So
there's
there's
ours.
one more thing you need to do, and that is you need to make sure other people can access it as well.
I need to do, okay, so I still have to add it to GitHub. I guess I'll have to add it to Git in order to push it, right?
So Git's aware of it, and you're thinking exactly the right things. If you had changes right now would be the time to add them and commit them and push them. But a branch, you know, you can just say, when you do a push, it just says, I'm going to update it with whatever I have. So in this case, you just want to do a quick push. If you had unstaged changes, so changes that you'd made but weren't actually committed, and you did a git push, it wouldn't push any of those unchanged things, just whatever's in your Git history so far.
Got it. Okay. So I should be able to git push. Let's see. No upstream. Oh, because I have to tell it where it needs to go.
Yeah, I usually say like git push origin. that usually?
If you do the command that it says, like the git push
I was gonna say
set
just
upstream, yeah.
Oh yeah,
It
you probably just
will-
copy that.
It will set that once, and then every time you can just git push from that branch, and it automatically knows.
Okay, cool.
Danny, do you know that you can copy and paste from the terminal?
Yeah,
Okay. I just wanted to
I just was
see if you
already
did.
typing, so it's kind of that.
Typing it out is good for your muscle memory.
Yeah, right. It's true, but this is why why I don't know everything
Yeah.
every Monday.
I'm a
Yeah, I
fan of
use
Git, so
Hyperterminal too because our terminal on the computer that I have was giving me trouble before. So okay.
I'm quite a fan of Git. Can I get you to do one more command for me just for solidifying what's going on right
Yes.
here? Do Git
Absolutely.
space remote -v for verbose. So this is just saying that mapping between origin, that thing we're pushing to, links directly to git at github.com:/collablab TCL. So it's saying, hey, these are the places that we're pushing and fetching from. So that's why origin matches our destination.
Cool. I like that. All right. I'm going to stop sharing if we're good on our branch, Sam.
And if
Nice,
you look,
thank you.
so if you look now at the branches in GitHub, so if you go just on the main regular source page and you click on where it says main, it has a drop down, you'll see that that branch is there as well. So for our other panel, Tatiana and Yolanda, we're gonna leave you to do that same thing, but we're about out of time now, and I'm trying to be conscientious and making sure that we don't, take over the rest of the week. So while we wrap up, one more quick thing. I will also be running the office hours for this week. So in addition to you, feel free to use, kind of the Zoom room whenever you want to. I will also be making time to do what is effectively going to be an open session for questions and stuff. And we'll be rotating the mentors through that every week. I will send out a doodle in the Slack channel after this meeting to kind of pick, hey, what time is good for you during this week, and that way we can change it up as weeks go, depending on whose schedule is doing what. But we'll see what time works for everybody, and then I will schedule a Zoom meeting that I will be on, and we can answer kind of any questions that we're working through as we're going through the week. Otherwise, I'm super excited about this. This is going to be a lot of fun.
So the very next thing that you'll want to do, yeah, it looks like Jen posted, is the other pair will want to make sure to create that branch and push and pull it. So you make sure you're all set up and ready to go. Get started right away scheduling those pairing sessions with your partner early in the week so that about by Wednesday you have your code ready to go and be reviewed. And be super loud and go to the office hours and be a team.
All right. So before we go, any last questions, any last concerns, any last comments, ranting and ravings you got while we're still on here on the Zoom?
Stacey and I just want to say we're DMing about how much we love this team, the energy, everything already. So yeah, you're gonna have a great experience, I think.
I love this team already. You are all amazing. So good.
Don't forget, not forget, don't feel scared or feeling like you are wasting people's time by asking questions.
Never.
The more you post in the Slack channel, the better. And it could be about, yay, it's Taco Tuesday. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just fun to have a group of people that you're working with and you're interacting with all the time and building something together. So please be loud in the Slack channel.
Well, sorry, I know I have a lot of questions, but
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry.
What is it, Lyle? Did you say that you're gonna post your office hours, or we're just gonna kind of discuss it? Was that what you were saying about the doodle?
Oh yeah, I'll be posting a doodle, so that'll allow people kind of to pick the times that are good for you in the week, and then I'll try and pick the most good time to do the office hours depending on people's availability. Sometimes it doesn't work out. You can get everybody in. We try to. So.
Awesome. And they, is it just like an hour or is it like 30 minutes? Like how long do you usually do them for?
Yeah, I think generally we're gonna plan for an hour. Like I said, that being especially, you know, early in the project, if you have more questions and we're around and there's time, we'll hop on. We can do a Zoom. We can just do a chat. We can do whatever. So it's not like that's the only time that you're gonna get to talk to me this week, but we're gonna do the office hours as a thing. So
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you.
Great job, everybody.
Good job. I can't wait to see what you build.
All right, take care.
yeah.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye,
everyone.
See you in
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.